Marcus Grant wasn't just any businessman. He was the founder of Oakwood Coffee House, a cafe chain built on the simple idea that every customer deserves respect. His business had grown rapidly with dozens of locations across the country, but as success expanded, Marcus began to wonder, were his employees still upholding the values he built this company on? To find out, he decided to go undercover. On a busy Friday afternoon, Marcus walked into one of his city's most popular Oakwood Coffee House locations. But this wasn't the CEO of a thriving company. Gone was the expensive suit, no polished shoes, no corporate badge. Instead, he wore a simple hoodie, worn-out jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. To everyone in that cafe, he was just another customer. The cafe buzzed with energy. The air was rich with the smell of fresh espresso, and customers chatted as baristas worked behind the counter. Marcus stepped into line, watching carefully. It didn't take long for something troubling to catch his attention. Behind the counter stood Rachel, a blonde-haired employee. But while her co-workers hustled to serve customers, she leaned lazily against the counter, scrolling on her phone. The line of waiting customers grew longer. People shifted impatiently. Yet Rachel didn't seem to care. Marcus stepped forward, offering a polite smile. "Excuse me, could I get a cappuccino?" Rachel barely glanced up from her screen. With an annoyed sigh, she muttered, "Yeah, just wait your turn." Marcus raised an eyebrow, something about her tone. So he waited. And he watched. What he saw made his stomach tighten. Rachel greeted white customers with a warm smile, chatting and taking their orders quickly. But when customers of color approached, her entire demeanor changed. Her voice turned cold. Her body language became dismissive. Orders were rushed, and her tone was almost bored. Marcus watched as she ignored a polite black woman who simply wanted a coffee. The woman had to repeat herself before Rachel lazily responded, barely making eye contact. Finally, Marcus stepped forward again. "I'd like a latte, please." Rachel sighed loudly. "We're out." Marcus frowned. He had just watched her make the same drink for the customer before him. "Are you sure?" he asked, his tone calm but firm. Rachel rolled her eyes. "Try another store." The cafe went silent. Other customers noticed what was happening. Some exchanged uncomfortable glances. Marcus said nothing. He simply nodded and walked out. But one thing was clear. This wasn't over. Back at Oakwood Coffee House headquarters, Marcus dug into customer complaints. What he found? Infuriating. Numerous reviews mentioned rude service at that very location. Some customers even described feeling unwelcome, especially people of color. And the common factor in many of these complaints? Rachel. But there was another problem. Nothing had been done. Marcus called in Eva, the store manager. As she sat across from him, he asked, "Eva, have you noticed any issues with your staff?" Eva hesitated. Then, with a sigh, she admitted, "I've noticed Rachel's attitude, yes, but she's popular with some of the team. I didn't want to cause drama." Marcus leaned forward. A leader's job isn't to avoid conflict. It's to do what's right. Eva nodded, looking ashamed. Marcus had seen enough. It was time for action. 1 week later, Marcus returned to the same cafe. But this time, he wasn't undercover. Dressed in a sharp navy blue suit, he walked in with a team of executives. The cafe went silent. Employees froze, whispering to each other. Customers glanced up, sensing something was about to happen. Rachel, completely unaware, was chatting with another co-worker until she finally noticed the serious expressions. Marcus raised his voice. "Can I have everyone's attention?" The staff gathered, some looking worried, others confused. Rachel was still clueless until Marcus spoke again. "Last week I visited this store. No one recognized me. I was just another customer." Rachel's face paled. "I saw firsthand how some customers were treated differently. What I experienced was unacceptable." His gaze landed on Rachel. "I was ignored, dismissed, and lied to. And based on the complaints I've reviewed, I'm not the only one." Rachel's confidence crumbled. She stammered, I didn't know it was you." Marcus's voice stayed calm. "That's exactly the problem. It shouldn't matter who I am. Every customer deserves respect, not just the ones you choose." Rachel glanced around, hoping someone would defend her. But her co-workers? They stayed silent. Marcus took a deep breath. This behavior has no place in Oakwood Coffee House. Then he turned to Eva, the store manager. "You saw this happening, and you let it continue." Eva swallowed hard. I was afraid to say something," she admitted. Marcus nodded. "That ends today. You're getting a second chance, but leadership means stepping up, starting now." Then he turned back to Rachel. "Effective immediately, you are no longer employed at Oakwood Coffee House." Rachel's eyes widened. "Wait, I can change! I swear it won't happen again." Marcus shook his head. "You had a choice with every customer you served, and you chose not to." Rachel's hands trembled as she pulled off her name tag. Without another word, she stormed out. Marcus turned to the rest of the staff. "This company was built on fairness and respect. That will not change." He looked around the room, making eye contact with each employee. "Starting today, we are implementing mandatory training on inclusion and customer service. Every employee will be trained to ensure that this cafe is a place where everyone feels welcome." The employees nodded, some even clapping. Customers who had witnessed the confrontation began sharing the story online. Social media exploded with praise for Oakwood Coffee House's leadership. Within weeks, the change was noticeable. Customers felt more welcome, employees were more engaged, business thrived. A few weeks later, Marcus stopped by another location. As he ordered a coffee, a young black barista behind the counter looked up and froze. "You're Marcus Grant," he said softly. Marcus smiled. "I am." The young man nodded. "I applied here after hearing what you did. You showed me that some companies actually care." Marcus felt a warmth in his chest. This was why he did it. Because real change comes from action. And he would never stop making sure Oakwood Coffee House remained a place where everyone was treated with respect, no matter who they were. Marcus sat by the window of the cafe, stirring his coffee slowly. He watched as customers came and went, friends laughing, students hunched over laptops, an elderly couple sharing a quiet moment together. It was exactly the kind of atmosphere he had always envisioned for Oakwood Coffee House. But his mind wasn't at ease. One store had changed, yes. One toxic employee had been removed. But how many more stores had unseen issues festering beneath the surface? He had built this company on values, but values meant nothing if they weren't upheld every single day. As he took a sip of his coffee, he pulled out his phone and sent a message to his executive team. "Full company audit, no warnings. I want every location assessed for customer treatment, workplace culture, and service quality. Effective immediately." If there were more problems, he'd find them, and he wouldn't wait for things to go viral on social media first. This wasn't just about saving a brand's reputation, it was about protecting its soul. A week later, Marcus was reviewing internal reports when an unexpected email landed in his inbox. It was from Eva, the manager he had confronted that day in the cafe. She had been given a second chance, and Marcus had made sure she had the resources to improve as a leader. Now she was reaching out, not out of fear, but gratitude. Subject: Thank you for believing in me. Dear Mr. Grant, I wanted to personally thank you for the opportunity to grow. After our meeting, I realized how much I had let slide, not just with Rachel, but in general. I was scared to speak up, afraid of making waves. But leadership isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about doing what's right. I've already taken steps to rebuild trust at my location. I've had difficult conversations, but the team respects me more now than they ever did before. I'm seeing the change, and it's all because you pushed me to be better. I won't let you or the company down again. Thank you. Eva Marcus leaned back in his chair, exhaling slowly. She got it. That was the real difference between people like Eva and Rachel. Rachel had refused to change. but Eva had faced her mistakes and grown from them. This was exactly why he believed in second chances, but only for those willing to take responsibility.